Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome back to the Games and Culture channel. The promise that has been made, and we are fulfilling it today. It's the Paper Mario review.
Yeah, a few months late.
You know what?
This
Marvel Midnight
ain't,
Suns and Baldur's Gate 3 were a lot of fun.
this ain't on me. I finished that game in like the month it came out.
This is
This
true.
ain't on me.
No, this is on me. If you've watched our podcast, this is definitely on me. I was distracted. I'm easily distracted. Okay. And part of it, like honestly speaking, part of it's just because I've played Paper Mario before. That
Who
this
wrote
is not
that?
a game that I'm new to. And honestly speaking, like A Thousand Year Door is not my favorite Paper Mario game. The original Paper Mario is my favorite Paper Mario because that was the one that I most closely hold on to, in terms of like what Paper Mario means to me. Thousand Year Door is great. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what this review is saying. This will be a very very positive review. I'm just saying that when it came to like my general interest in it, Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door does some things that irk me a little bit, and those things don't get pushed through because of nostalgia, if that makes sense. Like some of the original Paper Mario shortcomings, I can look past. I'm just like, I'm fucking 9 again, playing on my N64. Let's go.
I'm
The
definitely the
seven
opposite. It-
stars are in Mario Party 3. Holy shit.
I'm definitely opposite. This was the one I hide up in hell regard. This is the one I played. I played this multiple times in the GameCube.
And that's fair. You're also younger than me, so
Like 3 years.
that's approximately the gap between Paper Mario 1 and Thousand Year Door. I'm just saying. But yes, this will be a very positive review. This game is often hailed as one of the best RPGs of all time. It's received all of its accolades, and a quote unquote remaster is not going to change that. It's still the fantastic, great game that you know and love. Uh, Light spoiler warning: the game's been out for 20 years, so I really don't feel bad about spoilers in this case. But if you are going into this like this, because Nick brought up a very excellent point when we were discussing this before the video. This game did come out on Switch, and this might be the first introduction that somebody has to the game. So, um, light spoiler warning: we will be talking at it. We will be talking about some story beats and stuff, and talking about some changes versus the original. But other than that, we'll just jump right in. For those that are not in the know, uh, brief overview for you. Paper Mario is the long-running RPG franchise from Nintendo, taking the classic Mario character and all of his friends into 2D, because everything's paper. The world's very like artsy and craftsy. Um, you know, Paper Mario walked so Yoshi's Crafted World could run.
Honestly,
um,
can we even call this series an RPG series anymore? Though
Not
this,
anymore, no.
that's kind of why this remaster was a big deal because Thousand Year Door was kind of like the last of it. Most of the games you could probably consider are not RPGs.
Yes, Super
Um,
Paper Mario was more of a platformer.
mhm.
Sticker
Sticker
Star
Star was something.
Sticker Star was something. I mean, Origami King was kind of a puzzle RPG. It did have some RPG elements, but it leaned mostly towards the puzzle end of that spectrum there. Um, so yeah, exactly what you're saying. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was kind of the last time they did it, and then the Mario and Luigi games, which I have the utmost fondness of, those kind of became the RPG franchise for Mario, and they
Yeah,
started doing some weird experimental stuff with Paper Mario to varying degrees. I think most people think that Super Paper Mario is pretty solid. The story is really good in that
yeah.
one,
Or I
but
mean,
everything after that,
uh, yeah. I would kind of consider Super Mario Story is maybe slightly better than Thousand Year Doors, honestly. But gameplay
yes,
wise, wins easy.
yes, yeah. Um, but yeah, so it's a turn-based RPG. You control Mario as well as six companions,
Eight
uh,
companions.
eight companions.
It was eight companions. Pretty sure it was eight companions.
Pretty sure it's six. um, Not because there's Goombrella, There's Koops, um,
Flurry,
Flurry,
Vivian,
Vivian,
uh, Bobbery, Yoshi. Yoshi.
Bobbery, and the Yoshi. Yeah, it's 6.
Oh, we're both wrong. It's 7 then. Miss Meows.
That's right. You're right. Right, so 7.
We're both wrong. Oops.
Fair enough. Everybody knows that Vivian's his best companion, anyways. Actually, that's not true.
Right.
That's not true. Bobbery is who I use. Yeah, Bobbery's who I use the most. Bobbery.
It's
so
Vivian.
good.
She was the best in the original. She's the best this one because I mean, her flame can get multiple people at once. And it doesn't cost that much as compared to Bobbery, and on top of that, she can hide in the ground.
Yes, yes. But explosions. But yeah, so you have 7 companions and Mario. You're tasked with finding the 7 crystal stars, which are scattered across the
world. The MacGuffins of this game.
Realm. And you meet all different kinds of people and do all different kinds of things to acquire those. I mean, the first star is acquired by killing a dragon. Pretty normal fantasy RPG stuff.
And then it goes batshit from there.
Yeah, then it gets batshit. The third star is won in a wrestling fighting tournament. The 6th star, you are solving a
murder on a train.
A murder on a train, essentially. Yeah, you do all sorts of kind of things, and the main gameplay loop is a turn-based RPG. One that is very, very accessible. If you're not, obviously these games are all games for children. If you're not into the equipping armor, Final Fantasy type of like min-maxing stats RPGs, then this one is pretty much for you, because you pretty much only worried about 3 stats: your your health, your flower points, which are used for abilities, your badge points, because you attach badges that kind of give you access to other abilities or increase defenses for you and your partner, all those kind of good stuff. So it's very, very easy. Just like with Super Mario RPG, it's progenitor. Every attack has some kind of input command that rewards you with usually extra damage or an extra hit or an extra effect of some kind. But if you're really bad at timing things, which you shouldn't be, this ain't no Hi-Fi Rush or anything crazy like that. You get rewarded.
In this game, it's a little slightly harder, I would say. This is probably the one knock I'll give against the remake. The remake runs at 30 FPS on the Switch versus the GameCube runs at 60. So
Gotcha.
It is slightly that because the frames are off. But other than that, I mean, that's like the one knock the remaster has. The game looks better and they change things for the better in the remaster. Certain things, most like 99% of the game is still the same.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I knock about the game is just the amount of like foot travel you have to do, right? Mario runs so slow. And when you get the Yoshi, which you get to name the Yoshi, so I named my guy my Yoshi Little G, so Little Gonzalez, from the fighting tournament arc of the game. You get to ride his like in-world abilities that you get to ride him for faster movement speed, but to do anything you have to get off of him. So it still is just kind of frustrating to move around the world, and it definitely is a byproduct of the game's age. I wish they would have included like a hold B to make Mario run faster type button.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the remake this was fine. I think they addressed it because it was really bad in the original because there was a lot of backtracking in the original. Yes. In the remake they added some features because there's one segment in Registering Chapter 7 where you have to go find this dude, and he's basically going back, places you've already been. You have to talk to someone there, and they go, "Oh yeah, they actually went this way." In the original, you had to go through, the whole town, get to where, the entrance to the original entrance of that place was. It was a hassle. The remake, there's a new room in the
Yes.
center of the town. You just go into that pipe, and the pipes will lead you right there. So
Yeah.
an hour long backtrack quest turns into a 10-minute thing. So they do a
Yeah.
lot better job with that in this.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. I do acknowledge that the warp room made things a whole lot easier compared to the original. I just really wish that Mario's foot speed was just a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's fair. I remember you in the original, I used Yoshi a lot to do that. And the remake, I didn't really do that much. I just kind of kept moving up there next to me for battle purposes.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I use Yoshi a fair amount as well. But to do anything, you have to get off of him,
Hmm.
which is a little annoying. And plus, and you're right, he in battle he's sometimes not the best choice.
No, no, the best of it. I mean, there's are Vivian and Bobbery. Like they are the
Yeah.
best two combat ones.
So, um, I just wish that there was a better way of travel, because I mean most RPGs have a you hold the button to run faster, and usually that like either makes enemies notice you easier or you get more random encounters, those kind of things. I'm willing to
Yeah.
take a trade off if there's a benefit, because like especially in those early parts of the levels when you're running through Rogueport, like I'm just like, oh my god, Rogueport's really freaking big. Like damn.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a small gripe. I mean,
Yeah. This game, I played to death on the GameCube. I've said before. I mean, so when this game was like to a lot of people, like they were freaking out when Super Mario RPG got its remake. I was freaking out about this one. This to me is like the quintessential Mario RPG, even against the Mario Luigi series, which I do hold those games in high regard too. Um, but to me, this game it's just so special that even with the small gripes, they're easily overcome.
yeah, and that's fair. I mean, let's dive into that a little bit though. Like, why is this game so special for you? Especially because this is coming from someone that where this game is not that special to me. Because I think, and not to be a contrarian, this is just to open up a dialogue around it. I think the Mario and Luigi games do everything that Paper Mario does like 20 times better. In terms of like characterization of Mario and Luigi, I think Paper Mario does it a little bit better. I think the games art style is on par. I won't say it's better because a lot of the paper stuff is creative, um,
Well,
and the RPG mechanics are way better in Mario and Luigi. So, what
I
kind
mean,
of holds that in that high regard for you?
ultimately, the simple answer is this: what was your first RPG?
Uh,
That first RPG that you're like, oh, I'm going on an adventure. It was probably Pokemon Red and Blue, wasn't it?
yes, it would be Pokemon Red. Yes,
So
that
you, so
is.
you, you
My
so,
cartridge and Game Boy are sitting right
so
behind
you,
me.
so you hold that in super high regard, don't you? Even with all its old flaws.
I mean, yes, I do.
That
But I mean,
that's essentially that's
but there's
essentially what
more.
Thousand Swords.
But my
Well, I mean, there's more.
reasoning my reasoning is more than just the game though. That's why I'm asking what your reasoning
Well,
is.
I was to say, but
Because
my point is everything just kind of starts at that point where it was like the first RPG I ever played. And it's
that's
one I
fair.
played the most. So there are some rose-colored glasses, and yes, I would agree that the RPG systems are better in Mario and Luigi. This is more they're more in depth. There's more like skill points and stuff like that you're messing with, and the characterization of Luigi, I will agree, it's better in Mario just because he's there. I mean, Paper
Yeah.
Mario, he's not there at all. Well, he kind of pops out every 2 chapters, and you hear his
And he puts
misadventures.
Mario to sleep. He puts Mario to sleep.
Yeah, characterization of Mario though, Mario is always Mario. Like Mario is like
Yeah.
he's just Mario. So, um, character wise, but ultimately it is the character. I think the story of Thousand Door is the best Mario RPG story. Um, I just think the characters are just really good. I mean, who doesn't tear up at Bobbery's story?
I mean, true. Yeah. Bobbery story and Vivian as well. Vivian's is really
Oh yeah, especially
special.
Vivian's stories. I mean, especially with the changes they made for the remake, because in the original, we said it before in a podcast.
Yep.
The original, they took it out for the English version and just she was a cis girl, but in the remake they put it back because in the original Japanese version she was a trans girl. And so they in the English version of the remake they kept that in. So she says a few lines about that. So it's not super upfront about it, but I mean it kind of is. But that added touch of her being a trans girl now, and this actually makes the chapter 4 story arc a lot more compelling, just because it's kind of poetic that Mario loses his identity in chapter
Yeah.
4, and you have to get the help of a trans person to get it back. So it's like there's some poetry about that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree. Um, for sure. Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying that to dog on Paper Mario at all. It's just that it's always interesting to see like why this game is so special to you. Because, like I said, Pokemon is special to me because of everything around the game in addition to the game.
Yeah.
Um, I have fond memories of trading Pokemon with my neighbor's kid, and that first special moment when my Charmeleon evolved into Charizard, and I was my brain literally got blown out the back of my head. Like those moments are what makes that special to me. So it's kind of what I wanted to hear from you is like we
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what makes Paper Mario Thousand Year Door special and the classic that it is to deserve getting remade in the first place, because Red and Blue have
Yeah.
been remade 2 times now. So
Yeah, but it is also feeds into it being the first one. So like little kid, you walk into Glitzilla the first time, like what is this? And realize, oh yeah, this whole chapter is just a wrestling ring. Like, blows your mind. It is
yeah,
also the how the adventure ends, against the Shadow Queen. Really felt like an intense fight for a Mario game. Like the stakes were like super high. Like this thing was like, oh, she's gonna destroy the world. Whereas Bowser, he's not gonna do that.
yeah. I think that's probably one of the things that I enjoy most about the Mario and Luigi games is how like center of a role Bowser takes. Is Bowser is kind of like a afterthought in this game, but that also gives the new characters that were made for Thousand Year Door a chance to sign. Like Bowser's not the villain in this.
No,
He's not even there.
he's he's around. He's just trying to. He's always like 3 or 4 steps behind.
Yes. But the
Um,
the the major villains are the X-Nauts, which are hilarious characters in their own right.
yeah,
Um,
I think that's also one of the reasons why I think I also hold on to this game so much is Mario is also kind of my childhood in general. But the Mario universe can be very samey at times.
for sure.
Um, Thousand Year Door is a very different from the rest of the series. I mean, the Rogueport, the town you know, your hub basically. There's a noose in the middle of town, and just like, and then the game's opening thing, where you're talking to the Goombella for the first time. In the background, there's mafioso. I can't remember say like pinatas, wherever they pronounce them.
Yeah.
Uh, they're shaking down some guy, and just like, what the heck's happening over there? Like, it's the seedy underbelly of the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, I I didn't think everything was. I thought everything was squeaky clean here. Apparently not. Like a toad asks you, like you're asked to go up to a toad like at the beginning of the game, like where's Peach at? And the toad just goes, "What? The brat owes you money?" Like what kind of Mario
Where
game is
am I?
this? I thought this was a Mario game. So just the wackiness of this game compared to the rest of the series, and the game's being so tongue in cheek about it. Just all that stuff mixed together just makes things so special for it.
And yeah, I agree with those points. It definitely is a world that is very much so outside the norm for Mario for sure. I think that's what I appreciate about all of the Mario RPGs is that they do try to do things differently than the
Mhm.
rest of the franchise. I mean, you've got Superstar Saga, which is set in the Bean Bean Kingdom, Partners in Time. You literally have time shenanigans, like time travel shenanigans. Bowser's Inside Story, while taking place in the Mushroom Kingdom, you're literally inside Bowser for a ton of the adventure. Um, yeah, Dream Team has you going to a different place. Paper Jam has you interacting with Paper Mario. Like, yeah, they all kind of do something that's outside of the norm for Mario. And
Near
so
the
I
note.
think so did Mario Odyssey. I think that's what speaks to Mario Odyssey's success too. Is that that's so outside of the normal realm there.
Yeah, and the upcoming Brothership is taking place in a land called Concordia. So kind of
Oh,
keeping that theme. You
so it's exploring the remains of a dead game. Okay,
know? I guess.
they're gonna be free runners. Okay, cool.
What's funny? What's funny? I'll kind of a sidebar to that because of that name. The Nintendo announced the name of the place in Mario and Luigi Brotherhood like an hour before Sony announced Concord was shutting down.
Oh, so what you're telling me is that Mario and Luigi shut down Concord. Got it.
You know what? We're going with that. We're going with it.
Oh man. Um. Yeah. So, kind of getting into some of the like kind of the bigger story beats. What I mean, so I think the highlight for me in the game is that third crystal star, the Glitzville arena. I think that's probably my favorite part of the game. Um, some flashy characters, some pretty good fights, good boss fight. Um, like I said, you basically are trying to get this crystal star from the like number one fighter in the ring. So you got to rise up the rank. It's that classic anime storyline, just with the Mario twist. There's some espionage, some sneaking around, and it's just a good bit. Um, what's your favorite moments from the story, Nick?
I mean, you're right. I think Chapter 3 is the strongest chapter of the whole entire game. Chapter 6 comes in very close. I just think it's so cool Mario trying to be a detective.
Yeah.
Um, but Chapter 3 just it is just the complete package from beginning to end. It's the fact that you're only in one location. There's not really much platforming. There's not really a whole lot of puzzle. It's just really just battling. But there's just this intense story of this corrupt wrestling ring happening while you're just trying to go up the ranks to get the star, and all this is happening around you. It's like, again, this is a Mario game, and this is happening.
Yeah. Um, See, I'm not the biggest fan of Chapter Six, honestly. The train's just too slow paced for me. It definitely has some funny moments for sure. But if I had to pick like a second favorite area of the game, I would probably say all of the stuff on the island. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay. I mean, I think that I see the way you kind of feel about Chapter 6, how I kind of feel about Chapter 5. I think the island just goes like the caves going a little too long, personal
Fair.
opinion. I mean, the opening of Chapter 5 was like probably one of the best in the game, just because you're getting Bobbery to go back on the island. That whole scene I said earlier is a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Um, Although I question why the bartender never gave him that letter. It's like, like, how many years has it been you holding on to this? He's right there.
I just forgot. I just forgot. I thought it was a coaster. I just sent my drink on it for 30 years. I was shit. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's a strong one. Chapter 4. I mean, Chapter 3, 4, and the beginning of 5. I think that are probably that's like the strongest throughout part of the game. Chapter 6, I enjoy Chapter 6. I think it's funny Mario playing detective, and the fact that the guy who's actually detective with you, who's kind of teaching you the ropes, he's terrible at his job. But he's still terrible at his job. They flipped the script on the big joke of the series of everyone thinking Luigi is just Mario wearing green for some reason and being called Green Mario. And in this, he calls him Luigi the entire time. Like he knows who Luigi is, but doesn't know who Mario is. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, Chapter 6 definitely does have some funny moments, for sure. And like, yeah, I think you're right. Chapter 4 is pretty good. 'Cause that's Twilight Town, right? Or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's Twilight Town.
Yeah. Dupless. Dupless is so funny. I love Dupless a lot.
Yeah, that was great. And the fact that I thought it was clever how they did the P and the Switch stuff again, just because in the GameCube doesn't have an onboard keyboard. Obviously, it's an older system. The Switch does have an onboard keyboard. So I was thinking, like, how are you going to get rid of the P on the onboard keyboard? Because that's an entirely different programming function. They just don't use it and put another keyboard inside the game itself.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Although what's good about this time around, also a good change they made from the original, is you have to he's waiting for you to guess his name right outside of Twilight Town. 'Cause you have to go back and forth to his castle multiple times, which again they do alleviate that in the remake. But originally they didn't alleviate it, and you had to go back and forth through that checkpoint multiple times. And you'd have to go through the whole process of guessing his name, going into the fight, and running away every single time.
Yeah.
This you got to do it the first time, but after that you can just not guess his name at all and just run away off rip.
Yeah. Yeah. And it definitely is useful that they've kind of alleviated some of that backtracking because it was excessive in the original. I cannot sing the praises of the warp room enough for sure. Um, but
Yeah, the warp room, greatest addition to the game.
yeah, the warp room is super nice. I wish that you I wish that you didn't. I wish it was like more so connected to the thousand-year door room, so that you could quickly activate the thousand-year door, get the next star, and then just like go right into the warp room. There's like a few different rooms, kind of sectioning it off, just to make sure that it's updated and everything like that. But regardless, still so thankful that it's there. Because when I was rolling into chapter 7,
Yeah, it's
yeah, when I was rolling into chapter 7, I was like, oh my god, I have to go find Sergeant White. And then I was like, wait a minute, the warp room.
yeah. The warp room's like connected to the very main hub of the top of Rogueport, so it's super accessible.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then of course, boss fights are always the hallmark of a good RPG. Honestly, good action game in general. And Paper Mario Thousand Year Door definitely doesn't skimp on those. I mean, again, your first boss fight is really a giant dragon, and it's super fun. What are some of the highlights for boss fights in your mind, Nick?
I mean, Dupless, that's the fight because the fight one, like the first fight you have with him ends in such a weird way because like you're kind of first going like this, the end of the chapter, all right, that was a short chapter, and then it pulls the rug up from you, like, why am I moving in the shadow? Oh no. And then on the second phase of the fight, when you get back and know Dupless's name, at first Vivian runs away from you because she's with her sister thinking, oh no, I've been helping Mario. But again, a touching point of her whole story arc is she admits like while you're fighting Dupless alone, kind of like Mario's the only person who's ever been kind to me, so I'm gonna stay with him. And she comes back and joins in the fight and makes the fight easier. Um, Another good fight. I mean, I almost feel like chapter 3 is just a bunch of boss fights, really. Rock Hawk and then
Yeah,
Giant Macho. Um, and it's also I think the final boss of the entire game itself at the Showgrounds is a really good fight too.
yeah. The pirate guy, I can't remember his name right now. The floating head.
Cortez.
Cortez, yeah. Cortez, he's always one of my favorites. I like having to manage the weapons and take him out. Plus, he's just like a very like thematically and kind of visually pleasant fight. Shadow Queen's always great. I don't think she's as good as Bowletta, but that's just me.
I
um,
mean, Kekletta had more screen time.
um, but yeah, I always like Hooktail, and then the real Hooktail at the very end of the game. Those are really good ones as well.
Mm.
Um, I toward the later parts of the game, I forgot how difficult some of the boss fights were. I was taking like 10 HP hits on certain attacks. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, you definitely got to be thinking by end game.
Which is fine because it's an RPG. It's what you expect. So,
There are a couple. Let's just go chapters. You're just kind of like, nah, I'm just kind of cruising.
yep. Oh, my jump and my hammer one shot everything. Sick. Kumbella's just sitting offside reading me enemy weaknesses I don't care about so I can have the health bar underneath them. Excellent.
Such a godsend once you get the badge that can automatically displaces them without that. It's like, oh, good. I don't need to switch Google out anymore. Goodbye to the
Goodbye.
to the pocket dimension with you.
I do think it's fun to have Goombella out just for like some of her flavor text when you like see new things and stuff. She's pretty funny.
Mhm.
She's pretty funny. I mean, Nick, is there anything else that you want to highlight about Paper Mario? I mean, it's a certified classic for a reason.
Buy it. Like straight up, just buy it. Like, I mean, you don't need us to tell us. The game's been out for a few months now. I mean, this is what the Paper Mario series should have never left doing.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's the sales well enough to we'll actually get a successor to Thousand Year Door, like an actual successor, not whatever. I mean, Super Mario was fine. Um, but whatever Sticker Star and Color Splash were, like we don't want any more of that.
No.
Um, so I said this game is, as Kim said, it's a certified classic for a reason. There's a reason they chose this game off the GameCube to remaster and not just throw it on the Switch as a paltry virtual console type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. While I do wish that they would have given some love to the original Paper Mario, which probably, you know, honestly kind of needs it in comparison. I mean, these games are 2D and they hold up regardless, but I am really glad that they have chosen to give this game new life. Hopefully, sales numbers reflect people's desire for this type of Paper Mario game. I'm hoping so. And if you need to scratch your Mario RPG itch before Brothership comes out in here in a couple months, this is a great game to do it because it's fabulous. Um, Definitely one of the greatest of all time for a reason. Like so I have my own complaints with it, and most of them are nostalgia based because I have nostalgia for other games. But there's no denying how good this game is. And this is the best version of that great game. So definitely go out and buy it. Do I even have to ask your score? Your score, Nick?
Why'd you go first?
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think
Okay.
that while they did alleviate a lot of the backtracking, I still think that in the modern day of gaming, there should be a dedicated run button. And it's some of those things that makes streamlining an older game a little bit nicer. I mean, most of those like Final Fantasy Pixel remasters and the re-releases and stuff, they have features that kind of lift it into the modern age with some like ways to skip dialogue and to make movement faster, those kind of things. Um, and so I think that Nintendo needs to be mindful of those things in the future since this is 2024 going into 2025, your modern gaming company. Just some of those things to lift. Maybe the ability to kind of speed up battles or those kind of things. So while lacking some of those features, it's still a fantastic game. It's still an awesome game, and it's the reason why some games that I do have more nostalgia for exist in the first place. So yeah, 9 out of 10 from me.
That's fair. Um, yeah, as I said earlier, I do have nostalgia for this game. And there are some fair criticisms against it, but I don't think they detract at all because the rest of the game is just so strong. I think it's the first time I'm going to say it. I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 10
That's
out, is that your first 10 out of 10?
I'm pretty sure that's my first 10 out of 10.
Oh my lord.
I can
Oh
be a little
my
harsh,
lord.
but the ones that get it are the true gems. I mean, when I don't know if we'll ever do we've done our top 10 indie games on this channel before. I don't know if we'll ever do like our just top 10 overall games. If we're ever to do that though, Thousand Year Door has a place in my top 10 like of all time.
um it will not crack my top 10 RPGs.
I didn't say
uh,
RPGs. I just said of all time
oh,
games.
games of all time. No, it wouldn't even
Yeah,
crack my top 25.
it's in the top 10 like
I,
guaranteed.
I'd have to double check that, but I would probably I'd probably I'd probably say it wouldn't even crack my top 25.
That's
Nothing
fair. I
against
mean,
it. There's just games that I love more.
that's fair. I mean, a top 10 of all time is a hard list to crack. So not every game's gonna do it for everybody, but this is one of them that it's gonna be there.
Yeah,
So it just means so much. And the changes they made also mean a lot. So this game is amazing.
for sure. So 9.5 as the average score for the official games and cultures score.
One day a game will just get the full 10 out of 10.
And I
One
mean,
game.
that day may come closer than we think. Metaphor is right around the corner. At day of recording, it is 3 days away. 3 days. I'm actively playing the demo, and it's great. So we could be there. Brothership still on the horizon. Possibly Dragon Age. You know, there's still plenty of rooms for tens this year. I mean, hell, both of us still haven't even beaten Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yet.
Yeah, you're still working on Astrobot.
Yes. I started it the other day, so yes, I need to jump in there and get it finished. Metaphor throws a metaphorical wrench in that. So, um, but yes, yeah, there's still lots to go. So there's still rooms for tens out there. You know, there's still plenty of room for tens out there. Uh, and who knows what's coming next year? So, and who knows if I'll play it because
Just
Monster Hunter Wilds, man. Poor Mashima. But that is our review for Paper Mario. Let us know, did you play this game when you were a kid, or did you pick it up for the first time on the Switch when it came out? Who's your favorite companion, and why is it Bobbery? Or Vivian. Vivian's good too. Let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Do all of those things for us. Helps us out. And as always, we will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.
Adios.